We have the 2025 State High School FHS AA tennis champion, singles and doubles, with us today. Ben Saltman, his dad David. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, good. It's great to see you. Let's start with my question, and then Jack's going to run with this one because he is so fascinated with your stories. We both are, but he did all the hard research. In Winter Haven, you play for the Blue Devils. Blue Devils. Do you live in the city, or do you like commute in, or what?
Yeah. So we live in the southeastern portion of Winter Haven. I played high school for Winter Haven this year and also last year. But I do school online, but I also take a class at Winter Haven. I take a robotics class in person there, so that way I'm eligible.
Class.
Yeah, so this as an elective, but that way I can, that way I'm eligible for high school, and then Winter Haven plays out of my dad's facility, and that's also where like all my friends play out of and everything. So that's the initial reason for me wanting to play high school, just the fun atmosphere of playing on the same team as my friends.
Wow, robotics. That was this is the curveball of the day so far.
Kind of was.
They have classes in robotics. But yeah.
So you're looking at Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go off of the robotics thing first. Yeah. What were you thinking of for a major then?
Yeah, there's a variety of things I could do. I'm really not sure yet. I'm probably gonna ultimately figure it out while I'm there. There's a couple different things I could look into that I'm considering. Also like there's like sports management, sports science stuff that I could tie into tennis. Stay away from the
sports management, let me tell you.
Well, you got an internship available if you'd like one. We'd love to have you.
There we go. Yeah, but that's a way I can.
You'd be one of the three guys standing over there. You don't want to do that. Yeah.
Well, half our staff are former interns.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. But that would be a way I could stay involved in tennis as well. If but my goal is to play professionally. But
okay. Are you homeschooled?
Yeah, so I do Florida virtual school. So
yeah, I'm a big fan of that. Big fan. Yep.
For sure. It's definitely
some of the brightest and the best in this country.
Yeah.
Tim Tebow.
There you go. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yep.
Works out.
Anyway,
so Dad, you start off as dad and coach.
Correct.
So how does this start? He shows an interest early on, I assume.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting. So I played tennis as a kid growing up. Rick Macy just happened to be my coach, he wound up becoming the famous Rick Macy from the movie King Richard. But I played basketball and tennis, and then when we were in Michigan, I was working at the University of Detroit for the men's basketball program, and I bought him a little racket. He was 3 years old, and he just took a unbelievable interest in it. It was a little Snoopy racket, and he would just hit against this wall constantly. And I said, "Come on, what are you doing?" He goes, "I'm playing my games." And so at 3 years old, he showed an interest in tennis. I got out of the basketball business and wound up going into the tennis business, and from that point on started coaching him as well as other players. And he just happened to have a really high level of hand-eye coordination and in love of the game.
And never had an interest in other sports or
I wouldn't say I had a lack of interest, but I kind of was brought into tennis and I enjoyed it. And there were a couple sports I played like when I was super young, but tennis was essentially the main thing I was doing, and I just stuck with it. I enjoyed it, and I'm enjoying it more and more as I get older too. So it's a good experience.
So going into the game, into the last match, Stephen Correa had been your nemesis. You had played him
sort of, yeah.
3 times, Palmetto. How do you prepare going into that where you'd played him and lost 3 times going in, and what's between the two of you, the mental aspect of that, and then how it felt coming out on the other side?
Yeah, so the mental aspect is at that level probably the most important thing. If you talk to tennis players at this level, they would all probably say the same thing, because at the end of the day, like everybody's like just shots themselves, their knowledge of the game are all at a really high level. So managing the nerves, the expectations, your capabilities, like knowing what to do at the right times, like that's all a big part of it, and then the mental preparation going in. So the matchup was something that's given me trouble in the past. Like, so I was 0-3 against him, but I knew if I could like get in the right headspace, have a clear game plan for what I needed to do, like my game was there to win. I know it would be a good match, it would be a good test for me. But I was, for the most part, able to like accomplish the things that I wanted to do. I've been getting better at playing like more aggressive instead of just like everything defense. My game style has a good like defensive base that I rely on, like with my speed and just like defensive skills. But now I'm getting better at attacking the ball, even transitioning forward to the net, and so I was able to do that at bigger moments. Definitely better than I was in the previous times I played him. So that kind of changed the landscape a little bit, but I was happy with how it worked out.
So, Dad, how do you coach that mindset that you've got to get past the last ball, right? So I assume it's like, whether it's baseball in the last pitch or whatnot, but in tennis, it's every time you touch that ball. So,
right.
How do you coach
the biggest
that?
thing is creating the right mindset. Because so many times in sports, we focus too much on the result, and it's a process. Yeah. But people don't see the process because they're only watching the match, which is the result of all the work that has gone into it. So, anytime you're in a stressful environment where anxiety can come in, lack of confidence come in, you have to be able to manage that. And a lot of it is through visualization, meditation, focused breathing, things like you'll see even Navy SEALs do and stuff like that to keep their heart rate and their minds on the task at hand. And because tennis is such an interesting sport where you are actually the one, unless you're playing doubles, you are the one. It's not like you can get a timeout and get sub somebody else in for you.
Yeah, there's nowhere to hide.
There's nowhere to hide. You have to be able to manage all those. And then like he just said, with the expectations of what level he's at, it's kind of and sometimes you can actually make almost joke about it because, one of the things like Ben Saltman said, who's the ATP player from the Florida Gators, he's like, hey, if you lose 3 consecutive times to a player on tour, they call him your daddy. So Ben was having to go play his daddy.
That's exactly
at
what
the
we were
state
saying.
championship.
Yep.
And so I just said, hey, you don't want to lose your daddy the 4th time. And he looked at me and he said, don't worry, I'm not going to. So at that point, I kind of said, okay, you know what? I'm just going to let him go. His mind is locked in, and he's just going to do what he's been taught to do. And he went out and did that.
Wow. Did the singles match come before the doubles match?
Yeah.
Okay, so you had that. You had that.
Yeah.
Wind in your sails then going in for the doubles.
Pretty much. Yeah. Exactly. So we played. Yeah. So we played the singles match, and it was a good test for me, like I said earlier. But yeah, I got through that one, and then basically in about an hour we had the doubles match, also against the same kid and his partner, who are both really solid players. So I knew both me and Wiley, my partner, were going to have to play at a high level, and we definitely did in that match. If I'm remembering correctly, we never lost our serve. So we were both serving really well and like attacking the net, which in doubles is like probably the most important thing. So if you're kind of just camping at the back of the court trying to defend your way out of it, it's usually not going to work at that level in doubles. So that was something we improved upon in that match particularly. And so we were able to come on top. I knew if we weren't able to execute that, it was probably going to be a tough day at the office because I have a lot of respect for Stefan because for obvious reasons. But yeah, playing against the competition like that it's really fun. It's also a good learning experience.
So I take it you're number 1, Wiley's number 2.
On the team. Yeah.
So then you guys wind up playing each other a lot for who's going to be the number 1 seat.
Sort of. Yeah.
Week in, week out.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of just.
Time.
Yeah. I mean, we hit with each other. It's kind of like. I'm trying to think the way to describe it. So like just the way the kind of landscape of the high school is. Like I played high school last year and I was runner up for state. So like everybody on the team kind of knows what their position and they're happy with it, and we just make the best with that position kind of. So we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like confidently lined up, and yeah, that's how we have it. And me and Wiley, yeah, we worked together on the doubles court like really well this year, and I was happy about that.
And tennis has become a lot more competitive in Polk County. So
Definitely.
Tell us about that aspect as well.
Yeah. The quality of high school tennis in Polk County was pretty good these last 2 years. The two like rival schools were Winter Haven and George Jenkins. So yeah, like the other kid in the county that I had to play, I played him 4 times this year, and that was like a good. It was good for me to play against like a decent player like that in the county to get prepared for state, and then like at state, like then it's like another tier of level. So yeah, I mean the Polk County tennis, I think if you compare it these last couple of years, last like 2-3 years compared to like before that, it's definitely went up a lot, and I mean that's obviously a good thing. So
Okay, so we've got a couple of seconds left. Anyone you guys want to thank before we leave the segment?
No, I mean, thanks you guys for just having us here. I mean, I really appreciate it, and then just all the people that helped me out, coached me, my dad, my hitting partners, just that it's all part of the process of improving, and so we'll see how it goes from here on out.
Dad, anything to add?
You want to thank your mom for putting up with you too?
Of course, of course, my mom. Of course, that should go without saying.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, guys, thanks so much for joining
we
us.
appreciate it. Thank you
Congratulations
so much.
once again.